I have to get real close to you.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi, Sherry.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. We're here.
It's a happy day. We're together. That means it's happy day.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm very good. I'm excited to be here today. I have lots of stuff to talk about. And I saw you yesterday, didn't I?
You saw me on Zoom yesterday.
Yeah, I saw you on Zoom yesterday. I see her all the time anymore. On Zoom, and then she had me doing something last Tuesday down at the other side.
Oh, yeah, we filmed a little
She's kind
video
of pushing
clip.
me out of the picture. Man, I'm trying not to get too close to her. That's better. Thank you. You have to watch this lady.
Is that
I
better?
do like you. Thank you.
Feel better.
Okay. It's hot here. If you're not in Arizona and you're watching this, it's very hot, but we're doing okay. So part of the program today, we're going to talk about a heat stroke. I'm going to talk about it differently. I want you to be able to remember it without memorizing it. There's a difference.
Remember what?
Heat stroke. We're going to talk about heat stroke. What do you remember about heat stroke? First thing.
It's hot.
Well, anyway. That's why
you just rolled your eyes at me.
That's why I'm going to work with you today. We're going to talk about heat stroke and what's the immediate things you should do that will come to mind, and you don't have to memorize something. I always think that's not good because you just don't sometimes recall it like this. So I'm going to try to make it in a way that you can. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk just a little bit about vaccinations. And then we're going to talk about some new things I found that are coming that should make us happy about CBA, strokes, and about autism.
Oh,
You're
full of it.
Yes,
today.
we have a lot of reasons to be positive for the future. There's lots of negatives going on, but we know it does not always go that way. Change is rough. We don't usually like change, so this is going to hurt a lot of people because they're going to have to change lots of different things. But I have faith in humanity. I think that if what we're doing is doing with love, that we'll figure it out. There'll be some people you'll never convince, but there's always been that many from the beginning of the world. So that's probably the reason the world began in the first place. So,
all right.
That's enough of my philosophy for today. Okay, how are you?
I'm good.
She got her hair cut. Did you notice that?
Oh, yeah.
We like it. Next week, you look at me because I'm going to look totally different. I'll look worse.
You're going to look worse?
I'm getting my hair cut Saturday. I haven't had my hair done since the 1st of March. So that's March, April, May. Yeah, that's a long, long time.
I mean, your hair's starting to look like your avatar because it's getting poofier.
It is getting poofier, isn't it? Well, we're gonna stop that because it's just too hot to have hair.
You're gonna take it all out.
Yeah, we're gonna take it all out.
Okay.
You have anything you want to tell them while I get my stuff together here?
No. We are working on a plan for reopening, and we are hoping to have a specific date to share next week. So stay tuned.
Oh, to share next week. We're not opening next week.
Right. We're just sharing the date.
And share with me because I don't know.
And the plan. And how we've been working with an infectious disease expert. And so we're coming up with a plan on how we can be safe while reopening.
That's really important. Mm-hmm. Along with that, I think that now, since we're thinking about opening, a lot of places open, that if you have senior citizens or whatever they want to call us, they call us senior citizens, elderly, old people. What else have we been called? You name it, and they have. I don't know why we have to be called anything, but anyway. But you have to be thinking about what's your risk, how much risk you take, and it's called risk potential. What is your potential for being a risk? What's your risk factor? Mine's changed.
Even since 2 weeks ago, it's changed.
Yeah, look how close I'm standing next to you.
Mm-hmm.
I go home, take a bath, soap and water, wash her off. But anyway, my risk, I'm having to move the needle a little bit. I've enlarged my group a tiny bit. And that's a normal thing that's going to happen. We know a lot more now than we knew about this virus in the middle of or the first part of March. So I think we're able to make those some of those decisions. No, I would not go to a movie show and watch a movie. No, this is me. No, I would not go out to a restaurant because I just discovered, what do you call DoorDash? I just discovered DoorDash. You just call and you just pay that money right there, and they bring that food at your front door and you eat.
You don't even have to call. You don't have to talk to a person.
You don't have to talk to anybody. Well, Haley my granddaughter introduced that to me. I don't know if that's good or not, but anyway.
It's like,
so if I could do that, I could have a dinner party of the ones that I am associating with, and they could just do it all.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what we're doing too, is really just small groups in the home at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a chance, but your chance is a little less than mine, and your children are a little less. But I worry about kids because there is something going on with this inflammation, and that's kind of scary, and of mothers that have children. So we're not out of the woods. We won't be out of the woods until we get a vaccine for us. But we can decide how much risk we're going to take. Oakwood has always been truthful with you. We won't hide if somebody were to have it. You will know first thing, because that's stupid. We'll let you know first thing. And everything we do will be safety. Yeah, you'll see me real safe because I'm the youngest one there. So
I bought you.
I should have brought my mask.
I know. I bought her a shield.
She brought me a shield. And so I'm gonna have a mask. What kind of mask, Sherry? A special one.
I know. We had a beautiful woman in our community who is making masks for our staff that are communication masks. I feel like facial expression is really important, and to take that away really takes away from human connection. And so I'm having custom masks made for all of our staff to be able to wear, so we can be covered, but we can see.
They can see us talk.
Yeah. So 6 of them we had made. Now we're trying to get 25 more made. And we have some Oakwood masks that are for sale on our website in our shop. So
our cups are on sale on the site too.
I know, we're running low. I'm gonna have to order some more.
Cups are nice. Mm-hmm. And so we'll all be protected. Your loved one will be protected. But we can't guarantee. I can't guarantee anything. But I think you'll like what they're looking into. The things they've shared with me, it's good.
It is good. And I think quality of life is important.
Yes.
So we're going to try and...
We're going to offer them some quality of life now. But we know a lot more than we did. We know how to handle things more now. It's a more little rational. And I'm pleased with that, and I'll go with that. Otherwise, I'd be sitting home.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. And they know that.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go.
You've come a long way, Rosemary.
Come a long way, baby.
I'm very proud of you.
Yes. Okay. We're going to talk about, let's talk about vaccines first. You know, a lot of kids do not get their vaccines. I don't know if you realize that.
Yes, I do.
Probably a lot. And it bothers mothers who have new children, and they're trying to think about what they're going to do in getting their vaccines. Well, I think that we have done such a good job of having the vaccine, taking care of these childhood illnesses. So these mothers don't know what it is. They don't know what it is to have any of these illnesses. I'm so young that I can remember in 1952 when you had the polio epidemic. You don't remember that?
No, I don't.
She wasn't here.
But my grandma had it.
Your grandma understands. Well, they don't understand because they've never seen it. So they think it's a conspiracy. We're shooting things in them that are going to hurt them. The government has a conspiracy to take over the world, and Bill Gates is, it goes on and on and on with your conspiracies. But anyway, I remember in 52, my mother, before they told us we couldn't, she says, Rosemary, I don't want you to go down to the swimming pool. We only had one swimming pool. It's a little country town, and everybody went to the swimming pool. She said, I don't think you should go to the swimming pool. Well, it wasn't just shortly after that they closed the swimming pool in this little town. They closed the theaters. closed everything. It was very, very scary. Um, and I remember we could go down to the hospital, a little bitty country hospital, and they had a young man. No, he wasn't a young man. He was one of our high school students. Grade school students, and he was on the iron lung. And they pushed his iron lung up to the window so that we could see him. And kids would take turns going down and talking to him, and he died. He ended up dying. But mothers have never heard this. I doubt if anybody's ever told them about that. And it was a big scare. My mother was worried to death because polio was paralyzing, and it was not a good thing. Well, it's been eradicated now. I think the polio vaccine came out in about 1955, 1956. And then later we have Sabin, who came along and gave us the ones in the little sugar cubes. So nobody need to have polio anymore. I always look up if I'm looking in statistics. No one in the United States has suffered from polio since 1979. That's a long time.
It is a long time.
You all don't remember, younger people don't remember measles. I always remember measles. I know we have dealt with a young lady.
You're only 39 and 3/8. How do you remember this stuff?
Smart. We had at our site one time an older lady. Her mother had measles when she was pregnant. For all these pregnant mothers who think they don't want their kids to get measles, if a mother gets measles, it affects the unborn child. So this particular person was born almost deaf, blind in one eye, and mentally disabled because the mother didn't have a measles shot. She couldn't get it. It wasn't invented yet. So that's kind of scary. But most people, most mothers don't know these things. If you're not medical, how would you know these things?
Right.
And it doesn't seem like such a big thing to get them because you don't see anybody sick. So, I'm talking to you because pretty soon we're going to have a COVID vaccine. And it's already estimated that 49% of us won't bother to get it. Well, I'm sorry. I think if I had a child, if I had a kid, I would not want them to have this inflammation, because that sounds scary. And I will get it because I'd like to live at least 10 years longer, maybe more, just to aggravate you.
I mean, somebody's got to.
I'll keep you in line. So anyway, that's a little bit about vaccine, because people just don't. Smallpox vaccine, we got rid of that in 1979, and smallpox was a biggie. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that. But be thinking about the vaccine, because you have to make a decision.
Well, I think not just think about it, but think about, with everything, there's going to be people who are for it and people who are against it. And so, like you always say, look at the science and not...
There are 400 websites that are geared to anti-vacciners that are telling you not to get vaccines. 400 of them. So you need to look out. When somebody tells you this is scientific evidence, your brain should say, okay, let me look up that scientific evidence. That's what I have been doing now for a month.
Until I have never 2 in the morning, guys.
Yes,
this is how she...
Yes, I get on this and
spends her time.
It's interesting. It's helpful. So if anybody just says it's a scientific, you go there and see what the scientific, you'll be surprised. I was blown away by some of the stuff I found. So you'll need to look it up for the vaccine. If you don't want to get the vaccine, don't get it. I can't make you. Usually people who want to be really independent and a little not trustworthy of the government, that's where they go to. So, and I did have one site you could go to. And where is that site? You want to tell them something while I'm looking for that site? I have a site for you to go to.
We can put it in the comment section of this so that way they can just find it.
Okay. You can go to Natural News. That is a website that is against a whole bunch of stuff.
They're against it.
They're against vaccines. They're against a lot of stuff. So you should try that just to see what it's like. And there is
So you're not endorsing that?
I do not endorse that site. I went there to find out why they didn't like vaccines, why they didn't think a lot of stuff. I'm not here to go into that, but go to that site. They have a Michael A. Adams, which is supposed to be the Holy Grail. He is not a medical doctor. He sells vitamins. So anyway, the site has been debunked so many times I couldn't tell you. But if you want to see what they're putting out, you can go to that site. Otherwise, you don't have to. What you think?
I mean, I think it's a controversial conversation, and I
it is.
think that
a lot of people will not like me after this today, but you have to make your own. You have to live with your decision. So if you don't get the measles shot and you get pregnant and you have a disabled child, then that's your problem because you didn't listen. Okay. Another thing else, these things I just found and I thought they were really exciting. They're also saying that autism is due from the vaccines. You get a vaccine, you're going to get autism.
So in the early 2000, well, like I had my daughter in 2008, and that was a huge conversation. I mean, it was on Oprah.
Mm-hmm.
So as a young mom, because I was young then.
You were?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who thought shiver? Yeah.
It was a big. There's a lot of controversy amongst my friends of who was vaccinating and who wasn't, and there were a lot of celebrities saying not to vaccine your children because it causes autism.
Well, you have to realize they're just celebrities. A lot of them don't know a whole bunch either, so either than a lot of us don't know anything. It doesn't make them an expert. But anyway, you do your own lookup. I won't befriend you because you don't get a vaccine, but it would be nice if somebody would look some things up. No, but here's, I saw, and this brought it back because of vaccine, because they used that for a while. They have found a Fragile X is a syndrome that produces autism in usually males,
Mm-hmm.
And it's a genetic type thing. Well, what they're discovering now, that there is a protein that they can put in there, a type of a protein that they can inject, and it lasts for over 24 hours. And this is for Fragile X, and it stops the hyperactivity.
Really?
And the behavior. This is brand new. They're just starting on this. This is
That's
a big breakthrough. It's like insulin to a diabetic. See what we're doing? We're understanding illnesses more. It's going to be totally different, not for your kids. It'll be totally different. For autistic children with Fragile X, it'll be like insulin is to a diabetic. You take your insulin, you watch your foods, and you don't have those problems. Same thing, Fragile X, you'll get the protein, and I don't know how they're going to do it, if it'll be a shot or that's an infant stages going on here. But they're going to start working on that just really soon. And I thought that's awesome. It's awesome because those children need help. But what they have also found in this, let me get my other one together, that in just regular autism, they feel sure that they can use this protein and it will help with the behaviors in autism. Do you know what that would be like? My daughter works with children with autism, and she works with the ones that have behavioral problems. This is beautiful.
It is.
So that's not causing from a vaccine. It's causing from that gene that's in there. So what they're doing is playing with that gene, and I think, to me, that's really interesting. It gets me excited.
It is exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's life-changing.
It is very exciting. Yeah. Okay.
Now we just need something for Alzheimer's. Yeah,
we're getting there. Okay. You remember Kennedy and John McCain had that glioblastoma, that brain cancer?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What they have found at Tulane University here in the United States, they've found a gene that has something to do with the worst breast cancer. And they also found that it also works in the blastoma. The blastoma has no cure for it. We've had about 3 people at our site because I didn't have anywhere else to go. And we had them there, and it was very sad. We had a very young lady. They had been married maybe a year, and she had this. And it is a sad thing. But it has so much good things to say about it, that they're working with the FDA now to start clinical trials. So people,
Wow.
this is big. This is Fragile X syndrome. This is those people, and a lot of kids get the blastoma. Little kids get blastoma, and that's so sad. It hurts me when I see children that have the cancers. So anyway, this is really good. It's they stick this little thing in there, and it stops the spread of it. So this is something new, and there's 2 genes, and you're going to turn off one of them so the other one can work. So look for that. Look for Fragile X and look for new things for blastoma. You're on the forefront. Okay, now this is really exciting. You don't. She didn't know. She never knows what I'm going to talk about. Okay, strokes. CVA. I'm at risk for CVA. I'm getting older, so my risk is kind of going up to having a stroke. I've taken care of a lot of stroke people in my life, and it's just something's needed to be done for a long time. And I always thought that it could be, but I'm just not that right. Anyway, they did start with the clot buster. If you can get that in there, to reduce the clotting, you'll save their lives, but it doesn't do a lot as far as maintaining their cognitive ability, their reasoning ability, or their motor disturbances that they have having a stroke. So you're just kind of stuck. Nothing's come down the pipeline. I couldn't understand this. Well, this is why I stayed up to 2:30 last night. This was such good reading. I'm going to have to read a little bit of it. What you have to do, we know inflammation is causing so many problems in the person on diseases. So what they're finding is inflammation. So they're finding something that's going to help turn off that inflammation, because the brain cells at that time, when you have that stroke, they aren't dead. But the inflammation comes, your body's going to get in there and work with that stroke, and they ended up killing off everything. So they're going to do something to add. It's called a complement protein. And that's as medical as I'm going to get. Anyway, they're going to put that in there. And when they do, they use brain tissues that aren't dead. It gets a hold of them so they can make it. You have improvement in cognitive therapy when they do this. You also have an improvement in motor so they can be independent. Now, for stroke, if you've had anybody, anybody, you know how this is. This is big stuff. This is big time stuff. So, are you excited?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is big. If you've been a nurse and you've dealt with people with strokes, oh my goodness, it's just really sad. Sometimes they're just kind of locked in there. They know, but they can't get the words out, and it's just sad. My heart has always gone out to them. And also, it didn't stop with CVA. People who have traumatic brain injuries,
yes,
they can wait at least 3 months after the traumatic brain injury. Give them this shot that deletes part of the inflammation, and they can return a lot of that cognition.
Really?
Yeah, and this is 2 weeks after. 2 weeks after that. This is to me, this shattering news. But it's still, it's still in the scientists. It's still in the neuroscientists. It's still with those scientists that work their buns off to find all these viruses and to work on all this stuff. And I was just so pleased. And they're starting this starting their schedules with it. So you look for that, and you can say you heard it on Real Talk. So that's really good. One other thing. Over in Liverpool, England, I've never been to Liverpool. You've been to England.
I lived in England.
She lived in. I've been to England.
I never made it to Liverpool.
I didn't make it. I didn't go a lot of places, but in Liverpool, England, and this is going to be coming out pretty soon. If you've known anybody with osteoarthritis, you know anybody with
Were the Beatles from Liverpool?
Yeah,
that's where they crossed the crosswalk, right?
You know anything about osteoarthritis?
No.
You never had osteoarthritis in your knees or anything?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you'll like me after today.
You have a solution for me?
Okay, in Liverpool, England, they're working with an anti-inflammatory protein. And what it's doing, your Nutricells are in your, if you do a CBC, you'll see neutrocells and white cells and all those things. Well, neutrocells has to do with inflammation. And when they're real high, you know that your inflammation, so they might just get in and working like crazy. Well, what we have to do is turn off some of the inflammation because they know that's what's causing the pain for rheumatoid arthritis and for osteoarthritis. Can you imagine what this would mean to people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
is like a miracle thing. So they're getting, so they know what to do with this. The drug is called APPA. I don't know how long it'll take to get from England to here, and I don't know how far they are into this, but it has shown to reduce the inflammation in rheumatoid arthritis. And if you can reduce the inflammation in that, you reduce the joint damage and the feet damage, and that's a biggie for them to be able to walk.
So what are your thoughts on inflammation and arthritis is being caused by diet, sugar?
Well, that's what they want to say. I'm sure that for anything, you've got to have a reasonable diet.
Mm-hmm.
We know that if you're not healthy. Look at me. I haven't really had a healthy diet, and I know what's healthy is, but it's not causing arthritis. It's not causing osteoarthritis.
It's not causing the inflammation.
It's not causing your inflammation. So just because you're going to take vitamin B because it fights inflammation, well, I think if that had been the cure, we would have done it many, many years ago because we have many, many people with arthritis and osteoarthritis. And I don't think we have a conspiracy. We don't want those people well. But this would be a very good drug. It would work. So we'll have to wait and see how. I'm excited about that. And there's a lot of us as we get older, we get osteoarthritis. So for older people, you young people, when you get older, you're gonna be better. So
didn't you want to talk about heat stroke?
Right now.
All right, bring it.
Okay.
You have like 3 minutes.
Nah, I can't do that in 3 minutes.
Oh my gosh, she's like piles of paper, people.
Heat stroke. I'm going to teach you a little bit about heat stroke. So it happens, which you may already know. Heat stroke is we're talking about seniors. That'd be probably anybody, but mainly seniors, your fever goes way up. It could go up to 104. You don't sweat. You're just in a mess. Let me see. I had another one I wanted to remember about. So, you have a loved one, and you don't want them to have a heat stroke. What do? You have to keep them hydrated. Why do you have to keep them hydrated? It means you have to keep water in their body. It's because as we get older, we have a lot of different diseases. Our taste buds are not there. We can't taste as well. The urge to drink is taken away. So you just kind of sip, and sipping is not going to get it done. So that's one thing that will lead to a heat stroke when you take them outside. They don't realize how hot a room is. So if you have a senior, you better go over to their house and see what their temperature is, because they can have it set on 96 and not realize it. And you're starting a heat stroke at that time. So that's important to do. See what they're doing. See what their temperature is. They have less stress, less thirst as they used to. Their bodies don't regulate anything like they used to. They have cardiacs, so they have medications, and a lot of these medications will cause sunburns and reduce your water. A lot of you are on diuretics, which makes you tinkle more, and that makes you dehydrated. So all these things in an older person, especially in Arizona, you have to really watch out. So if your loved one goes outside and you have a heat stroke, what is some signs of a heat stroke? 101 fever. They disorientated. They're really flushed. They're not sweating. So if you see these signs, it should come to mind, this could be a heat stroke. And those things you can get in your mind and just pull up a heat stroke. So what do? What would you want to do? Well, we're lucky in Arizona. We can call 911. So time you get one or maybe 2 of these done, you'll have 911 there. So you don't have to listen to all. You don't have to learn all this. So you bring them in the house. It's usual things. Turn the fan on. Put them in a cool room. Turn the fan on. Take some of their clothes off. They're hot. Temperature is 104. Just like you would do with a baby. You'd get their clothes off. Take some ice packs. Put them under their arms. Roll them on their, lay them down. Roll them on their side and put some on their backs. That's a large area. What you're trying to do is reduce the temperature so you don't have damage. That's the things that you can do. And by then you get this done, you're going to have 911 there. One thing you need to be aware of and not afraid of is seizures in a heat stroke. You don't do anything to prevent a seizure. The seizure is not going to kill you if you have them laying down and on their side. They're not going to go anywhere. They'll just have the seizure and they'll be all right. Don't stick your fingers in their mouth to get them bit off, or you'll end up choking them.
Just put something under their head so they don't bang their head.
Yes, just watch them and let them have the seizure, but don't let them hurt themselves. Or usually if you have in a secure place, you'll be all right. But that's something to look for. Can you give them something to drink? Only if they are alert enough to swallow. You don't want to choke somebody, but that's very, very helpful. But you have to be sure that they're ready for that. So those are easy things that you can take a little bit at a time, and you can remember that. Their heats up. So if you are hot, what do you do when you come in? You take a bath. You get cool cloths and wipe them down, put water on their face and get the temperature down. It's the same thing that you would do to yourself. Don't forget that. And now then, the top thing for today. Drum roll. It's called Drip Drop. Have you heard of Drip Drop?
Is this like a product?
Mm-hmm. It's a product.
So this is your product of the day.
This is my tip of the day.
All right. No, I don't know about Drip Drop.
Drip Drop. Go on the internet and look it up. Drip Drop comes in little packages like Crystal Light. It has electrolytes in it. A lot more than, I think Gatorade has got something like maybe 30%. And this has got a whole lot more on Drip Drop. So I think it's about $1 a pack. But if you have seniors, it would be worth getting some Drip Drop because you're putting the electrolytes back in there. I'm going to get some, so when I get gastrointestinal, it's better than Pedialyte. That stuff's just horrible. This stuff tastes pretty good. It's got fruit flavor in it.
Can you get it at the grocery store?
I have not seen it. You'll have to. I didn't investigate. I know that you can order it online. I would imagine you can order it, locally somewhere. But it's pretty good stuff. So you ought to go see what Drip Drop is. Let me see if I have any other things.
We will put the link for Drip Drop.
Yeah,
I will find it.
Just go dripdrop.com and you'll see it. There's little bit packages. You put in your water, shake it up. That gives you electrolytes. It gives you everything that you need. So it's good to have those on hand. And if you can get one of those in your loved one or a couple of them, according to what the cost is for you, that would be good. I'm going to get them so that when I get, as I said, gastro problems, I can take those. So that's the tip of the day. It's called Drip Drop. I was so excited when I found that because it's a lot better than the sports drinks for you.
They have a lot of sugar in them.
Yeah, they have a lot of sugar in them, and you really don't need that. It's got sodium that you need, but not a lot. It's got exactly what you need.
I like it.
Drip Drop. That's it. That's all I know today.
I mean, I feel a little overwhelmed.
You would be.
It's a lot for me to take in.
But when somebody has a heat stroke, don't get all upset. Just think what you would do to your body. You'd come in and pull your clothes off and wipe down and get in front of a fan. The same thing you're going to do to your family member.
I think there's been like 3 episodes now about you talking about taking your clothes off.
Take the clothes off.
It's your solution to everything.
And get them all wiped down. You can save a life. You really can save a life. You're getting educated because a lot of people don't know to do that. They don't do anything until 911 gets there, and you wasted all that time with 104, a fever that's going up to 105. So
there
be proactive. Have one person call 911, and you get them clothes off and get them cold packs on them and turn the fan on.
And then drink some Drip Drop.
And drink Drip Drop if they're alert enough to have it. That's all I know.
All right. So until next time, we'll be back. Make sure you subscribe down below so that way we can get more followers and more people can hear the wisdom of the Rosemary.
Also, you can let us know what you want us to talk on too.
Yes, you can email Rosemary.
Yes.
At rosemary@oakwoodcreativecare.org. And she will eventually, she has gotten better about responding to her emails. I used to think you just ignored me, but she is better about answering her emails. I know. Anyway.
Yeah, please, that would help me a lot. If you could tell me what you're interested in, I'd be glad to have a real talk on that.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Be safe. Be well.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
How was that?